Hello, guys. How is it going? Let's see. Need to open up the chat here. All right. Chat is turned on and I am sharing my screen here. So if you guys can type in the chat, tell me hi, where you're tuning in from, and let me know. Just type a yes in the chat if you can see my screen that says stay-at-home bookkeeper, have your cake and eat it too, your exciting journey into business ownership. So let me know if you guys can see that. All right, awesome. Ooh, we have someone from California and Brazil. That is awesome. And Atlanta, Georgia. Hello to all of you guys. This is great. We've got quite a few awesome people on here today. Let's see. Awesome. I'm so excited to get started and dive into all of this information that you guys can take with you, have a discussion with your family, and make a really good game plan of how you can, reach some of your goals, your lifestyle, financial, location, and time goals. Got some people. Hey, Portia from Oklahoma, Jessica from Texas. Good to have you. Oh, Ashley's from Kirksville, Missouri. Awesome. Very, very cool. Thank you guys so much for hopping on today. And in case you guys don't know me, if anybody on here is new, my name is Tiffany Higgins. I am a CPA and a mom of five, and I founded the Stay at Home Bookkeeper Academy after our family experienced all the wonderful things, all the benefits from starting our own bookkeeping business from home. And so I decided I wanted to teach other people how to have that exact same freedom and a lifestyle that we got to enjoy, because it was such a nice surprise. And we were able to achieve some of the things that we were really dreaming about for so long that we really never really knew how we were going to be able to achieve those things. And our bookkeeping business really checked all the boxes, knocked everything off that we could possibly have wanted for our family. So I'm really excited to be here showing you guys today how you guys can follow in our footsteps and be able to have some of those same things: the financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom, the flexibility to live your life the way that you want, but still be able to, financially provide for your family and take care of everything that you need and want to. So, one of the things that was really cool is that I was able to grow my business, even though I had a 6-month-old at home and two elementary school age children with me. And I was able to grow it surprisingly easy, even juggling all that, that within about 7 months, we had enough bookkeeping income coming in that covered all of our family's bills. So my husband actually got to quit his job and retire as well. And that was actually in Christmas Eve of 2015. He got to be home. And he is on this call too. So you guys will see if you see Sean Higgins commenting. He's going to reach out to all of you guys after this webinar too, just to see if you have any additional questions, after we're all done here. But as I brought my husband home, we were able to still continue to have a thriving business, even as we decided to grow our family as well. We had twins. I nursed the twins for 2 years, and then we decided to homeschool our three older children. We even upgraded our house, moved to a different city. And that whole time, not only did I not lose any clients, I kept all my same income coming in, but I also grew my business during that time. So we were not only having the freedom, the flexibility to work from home, work from anywhere we wanted to, but we also got to homeschool our kids during this time. And my husband and I were working less than one full-time work week. And we were making more than either one of us had ever made in our full-time jobs combined before, when we worked for other people. So I'm going to show you guys how you can have that same experience as well. Even if you have no prior experience in bookkeeping or accounting, or even if you've never even heard of QuickBooks before. So our academy walks you through how to do all of that. And this is building a business, so it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not something that is always super easy. You're going to have to follow some steps and do some things, but it will provide you with all of these benefits and all of this freedom and flexibility, and additional money coming in. So I'm excited to dive into that with you guys. We've created this Bookkeeper Academy, and it's our sole mission to empower people to become financially independent without sacrificing connectivity with their families by offering the education and framework to launch their own bookkeeping business from home. So that's like literally our entire purpose of being here and having the Stay at Home Bookkeeper Academy. And of course, you guys might know our motto is have your cake and eat it too. That's our free Facebook group. And really what that means is we want you guys to all experience the best of both worlds. You should be able to, live the life that you want, have the schedule you want, be there for your kids if that's what you're wanting to do this for, but also have the money and the finances to be able to do those things. So the reason is, like, when I was older or younger and my older kids were first born, I had to choose, do I want to go to work and have money, or do I want to sacrifice having like all of those additional things that people want in life, right? Nice car, nice house, those things, so I can stay home with my children. And I chose to stay home with the older kids, but we really struggled financially. So I never felt like I got to have my cake and eat it too until I started my bookkeeping business and my third child was born. And I went through all of those same feelings and emotions again, where I don't really want to be struggling on one income, completely broke all the time, but I also want to be a stay-at-home mom, or I want to be there for my child. So when I started my bookkeeping business, it allowed me to have both. So I'm here to help you guys do the same. So before we get started, I am curious who all we have attending today. If you've been on a live webinar with me here in the past, like maybe the past couple of months, type a 1 in the chat. But if this is your first time here, type a 2. So I would like to see who all we have here. And if you are returning, welcome back. You're welcome to come as many times as you want so you can really understand what this bookkeeping business is all about and get comfortable with the idea of becoming a business owner. But for everybody that's new here, welcome to our webinar. We're going to go over lots of information, and I'm going to stay on until the end, until all questions are answered. So these webinars can sometimes last a while because we're really talking about a lot of awesome stuff. But if you have to leave early or you have to leave and come back, that's totally okay. This call is going to be recorded, and Sean will text you and get you the link to the recording as soon as it's done processing. But if you're able to stay on all the way through the end, I am more than happy to answer every single question that you guys have. So welcome back, Felipe. And welcome everybody else. It looks like everybody else is new. So I'm so excited to go dive into all of this with you guys. So again, I do these webinars every Thursday and Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Time. So you can hop back on as many times as you need to. If you're watching this, but your spouse or significant other or somebody that's important to you isn't able to attend today, but you really want their help making this decision, have them come to this call the next time, or we can even hop on a call with you and help answer some additional questions that you have. So I'm not going to be doing the webinar on Thanksgiving, but we are going to be doing it on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So we have that coming up. But everybody's welcome. Feel free to invite anyone. And one thing that we really, really love on these webinars, but also even in our Bookkeeper Academy, is questions. No question is stupid. No question is too small. So, please ask a question. You can type it in the chat, or you can put it in the Q&A. And that way we won't lose track of them. So, please ask me any questions that you can think of throughout this entire process. Transparency is one of our core values here at the Stay at Home Bookkeeper Academy. So anytime that there's something that feels like that doesn't make sense, that sounds too good to be true, that's confusing, please let me know, because I'd love to help clear up any confusion that you have. So that way you guys can walk away from this webinar and be able to know exactly what this path to financial freedom could potentially look like for your family. So everyone give me a thumbs up if that's cool. Thumbs up in the chat If you know, you can ask me anything, any questions, don't hesitate. I'm happy to answer all of those. So I'll go over real quick the agenda for our meeting today. The first thing that we're going to do is talk about the investment options for our Bookkeeper Academy and our new guaranteed approval program so that you know exactly what the investment looks like to get started for this. So that way you can start factoring that in. And as you listen to the rest of the presentation, you'll kind of get an idea of how you're able to turn that investment into lifelong money for your family. But we're going to talk about that first, just so there's no questions and you're not wondering and curious about, what is this going to be like? And then we're also going to talk about, we have a financing company, a lender who is approving everybody. So even if you've had problems with your credit in the past, or maybe you lost your job last month or something like that, you can still get approved, and you will get approved for our program to come in on a low monthly payment. So it's really, really great. That's the first thing that we are going to do. And then the second thing that we'll do is talk about your goals. So one thing that's really important when you're starting a business is to have an idea of what are your goals? Why are you doing this? And what do you want to get out of it? And then it gives you something to strive for, and it gives you something to plan as well. So we're going to determine where are you at right now and where do you want to be? And then from there, I'll be able to help you take those goals that you set for yourself and show you how exactly a bookkeeping business can help you reach those goals and why it is going to be ideal for your family. And this will help you have a really great game plan that you can discuss with your family to be able to know how to move forward with this. And then, of course, lastly, I'll walk you through exactly how our team helps you kickstart your business, builds the foundation that you need to help carry the success into the future for years to come, whether you're an experienced bookkeeper or if you've never even heard of QuickBooks before. So I'll go over everything that you would get if you enrolled in the Bookkeeper Academy and how our team helps you and supports you along the way. So we'll just dive in really quick with the details about our Academy investment, how you can get started with our new guaranteed funding program. And then if you're new here, you'll be able to see how you can turn this investment into lifelong money for your family. All right, so for the Bookkeeper Academy, the investment is $12,000 for a whole year of support, 12 months of support. So we take you from $0, brand new business owner, maybe even brand new to bookkeeping and accounting, and we help you make $100,000 in your first 12 months or less. So you literally go from 0 to 100K, and all of this is working part-time, even with little to no experience. We do have people that just pay in full for the 12,000, but like I mentioned, we have a really awesome payment plan for people as well that I'll go over real quick. But our whole goal is to help you, and we are set up to help you get a 10x return on investment in your first year. So for example, if you invest $12,000 in something and you're expecting a 10x return on investment, you're going to make about $120,000 in your return. A lot of people can do that in the first year, depending on your goals. May take you a little bit longer to do that, but then each year you're going to be doubling the size of your business. So over time, it's going to be even, much larger than a 10x return on investment. Now, when you invest in something like a real estate or a savings account or stock market or a CD or retirement plan or something like that, then you're typically getting a much smaller return on investment. And it's usually spaced out over, 3 to 5 to 10 to sometimes 15 or 20 years before you actually really see a good return on your investment. So it's always wise to invest in yourself, in your education, and then investing in your business, because that's going to get you the biggest return on investment. Then you can use the profit from your business to invest into those other things. So that's what we're here to help you do, is help you invest in yourself so that you can have a huge return on investment, huge profits, and be able to utilize that to invest in other things. A lot of our students like to invest in their own retirement accounts, and they also like to invest in real estate and other things that can then eventually give them fully passive income. But I'm going to show you too on an upcoming slide how your business can not only be a retirement plan, but also can eventually be something that is semi-passive for you as well, which is really cool. But like I mentioned, due to the Bookkeeper Academy student success rate and the fact that our students can actually make money within their first couple of weeks or first month in our program, we have a lender who is willing to approve 100% of everybody in the US. If you're in Canada or the UK or Brazil, this guaranteed part does not apply to you. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that. But if you're in the US, the lender will 100% guarantee your approval if you join our program. So they do require, the only thing that they require is the monthly payment. So what they offer is a $640 monthly payment that's spaced out over 24 months. So you have plenty of time to build up your business. And I'll show you how within just a couple of months, you'll be able to make double or triple that payment. So it will be really easy for you to continue making those payments, even if that's something that's a little tight for your budget right now. But you also have the option to pay it off early, which a lot of our students are able to do because of bookkeeping cleanup jobs, one-time bonuses that they get from their clients, which I'm going to explain a lot more about here too shortly, that they get to pay it off early. If you pay it off early within 12 months, it does become interest-free, which is really awesome. And again, you guys can always like pay up front and pay directly as well. But our lender does allow for you to get started with as little as $640 down, which is really, really awesome. So I like to, before I dive into exactly how all of this works and talking about your goals, I'd love to kind of get a feel for what your mindset is today. So if you could tell me, do you believe that it is possible for you to make $100,000 in a 12-month time period working part-time? So type a 1 for yes. If you feel like this statement is true, I do believe in myself and that I could accomplish that with the right guidance. But if you feel like I can't possibly imagine how I could ever actually make that kind of money for my family, that's just something that you've never really figured out how to do or thought could do, then type a 2 in the chat. So it looks like everybody so far has typed a 1. That is fantastic. So I would like to, let you guys know that when you have a business, 80% of your success is going to come from your mindset. Do you believe you can do it? Do you believe that with the right help and the skills and the support and the guidance, you are going to be able to accomplish these things? Because as you know, if you don't believe that, you won't accomplish it, right? So we work a lot on overcoming limiting beliefs and roadblocks and mindset around money and all sorts of other things in our academy, because we want to make sure that you have an open mind to be able to reach your goals, because anything is possible if you believe it to be. So thank you guys so much for answering this question. I really appreciate that. All right, I am ready to get started talking about how you guys can make $5,000 to $10,000 to even $20,000 per month starting from ground zero. You guys ready to get started? Drop a fire emoji or your favorite emoji or a yes or a thumbs up in the chat if you are ready to learn all about this bookkeeping business. Harley says yes. I love it. Thumbs up. I love the muscle emoji. All right, great. Fantastic. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is help you guys get a little bit of clarity on the goals that you have for yourself and your family. So then we can take that and build a roadmap of how to actually reach these goals. So we're going to go over financial, time, and location goals. And all of these are important, but it's different for everybody. So, they all might be important to you in a different way. For example, some of you guys may find that money is the most important goal that you have right now. You're not making enough. You're not getting to provide for your family in the way that you want. So money may be the most important goal that you have. However, for some of you, if you've got little kids at home, maybe you're a first-time parent, having more time with your family, or maybe you have a sick relative or something like that, but having time for your family is more important than anything, right? And then also we have location goals. Maybe you have a family member that lives across the country that you just really want to be able to go see, and you're stuck because you have a job that doesn't allow you time off, or if they do, it's without pay and you can't afford to do that, or maybe you can't even afford to travel. So there's all these goals that kind of go hand in hand, and they're all at a different importance level for each different, person, depending on where you're at in your life, right? But you can't reach your time or location goals if you don't already have your financial goals met, right? Am I right there? So, we're going to first talk about financial goals because money, whether you like it or not, it is what makes everything happen. So, we're going to talk about that first, and then we're going to dive into the other ones. Now, with the financial goals, I like to break these down into 3 different goals. We're going to have a bare minimum goal, a covered and content goal, and a wow goal. So this is where I want you guys to kind of be thinking about this. I'm going to give you an example for the bare minimum goal for myself. I'm going to give you an example of that, and then you guys be thinking about what it is for you. Okay. So my first bare minimum goal, when I decided to start my bookkeeping business, I left my job at the CPA firm and I was making take home pay after paying taxes was about $3,500 per month. And when I had my third child, we decided to hire a nanny because I wasn't quite ready to quit my job yet. We didn't have the means to do that and live off of my husband's income. I didn't feel comfortable doing that. Didn't want to risk losing my house or my car or whatever, right? But I knew that I did not want to put her in daycare. So we hired a nanny, and that nanny was kind of expensive. It was like $1,500 a month to have her come to the house, watch our baby. So I was basically netting $2,000 a month. Well, when I decided I'm just going to start my own bookkeeping business, I'm going to work from home. All I need to get started to know that I'm going to be okay for a little while is $2,000 a month, because that's where we were at anyway. It was hard for us. It was a struggle. And I knew I didn't want to be there forever, but I knew if I could just get my business to that point, then I would be fine and we would figure it out. So that was my bare minimum goal. Can you guys type in the chat, what is your bare minimum goal? If you started your business right now, maybe you quit your job or whatever your situation would be if you decided to start your business, what would be that very first goal that you would want to hit? When I first started my business, that goal was small. And I'll tell you, as you start hitting those little goals, your mind then starts to expand and open up and you get excited. You're like, wow, I hit that goal. And looking back, that didn't take me very long. If I could hit that goal in this amount of time frame, what could I do in the future? It really gets those wheels turning. And that's kind of what happened to me. And that's usually what happens to our students as well. But let's focus on, what is that bare minimum goal? So for Portia, it's $1,500 a month. For Andrea, her bare minimum goal is $4,000. Same with Shauna. Ashley's is $2,500. So, keep typing in the chat, guys, what your bare minimum goal is. And this is different for everybody, just, depending on our situations that we're in. So now that you're thinking about that too, I'll talk about the second goal. This is like your comfortable and content goal, where you're worry-free now. You're not like having to worry about budgeting every penny, not having to worry about, checking grocery prices or taking the family to dinner or something like that. So think about what your goal number 2 would be. And I'll give you an example of mine. So for me, our goal number 2 was to bring in around $5,000 to $6,000 per month. At the time, that would have covered the majority of our reoccurring monthly expenses for our family. And it would allow me to let my husband leave his corporate job without fear of getting behind on any of our bills. This would then put us back in a situation where we were a little bit tight, but having this kind of money in helped us start to reach some of those lifestyle goals of having him home and all of us being together and being able to grow the business and focus on the business, but then focus on family instead of like doing it all at the same time. So about $5,000 to $6,000 per month was my second goal. Type in the chat, what would be your goal number 2, where you're a little bit more covered, content, worry-free? Shauna says 6,000 and Portia says 5,000. Ashley says 6,000. Awesome. Great. 6,000 for Felipe. Great. Okay. Now, once you start reaching those goals, then you really start thinking, oh my goodness, okay, I'm now like, I've got everything basic covered. What can we do from here? Like, this is incredible, right? So goal number 3 is going to be like your wow goal. So if you were comfortable, content, you don't have to worry about things. Now you're sitting here thinking, okay, I'm going to start reaching some of my bucket list items, stuff like that. Things that you would always talk about doing, that you always talk about doing right now, but maybe you don't really know how you're going to do them, right? Because how are you actually going to make the kind of money that you need to, go to Bali, or, whatever it is that you guys want to do, buy an RV, travel around, whatever it is. I know. So for us, our example of that is I wanted to make the 10K per month mark. I wanted to hit $10,000 a month so we could buy a new car and take extended vacations and travel and not have to worry about it, be able to afford it, but still constantly be covering our normal bills. So type in the chat, what is your wow goal? What is your goal number 3? So Kakib says goal 1 is 4,000, goal 2 is 8,000, and goal 3 is 12. I love it. Felipe's goal is 10,000. Portia's 10 to 15. Shauna is 12. Love it. Awesome. This is great. So right around the ballpark, close to what I have, but everybody's a little different. So that's perfect. Okay. So now you've got clarity on your financial goal. Let's talk for a second about your time goals. Andrea's got $6,000 or $16,000. Great. So I want you guys to do a little bit of calculating here. And then we're going to type in the chat how many hours per week that you are dedicating to your job, or to making the money that you have now. So if you have a commute, factor in those times. If you have to be at your job through a lunch break, factor in those times. But type in the chat how many hours per week that you dedicate to your job or to making money for your family right now. And if you don't have a job right now, how much time would you have to dedicate if you were going and you were bringing in maybe like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month? How much would you have to dedicate if you went out and got a job? So for me, I didn't really have a commute. I was able to kind of work through my lunch break. So really, I was gone about an average of 40 hours per week. But my husband, on the other hand, he had to commute to downtown Kansas City. He fought traffic every day. A lot of times he ended up having to stay late because he was a manager and he had to wait till everything was done. And so a lot of times he was gone close to 60 hours per week, dedicating to his job. So for us combined between the two of us, it was 140 for me, 60 for him. So Portia says she dedicates 60 hours per week to her job. Kakeeb says stay at home mom, but would have to dedicate 26 hours. All right. Shauna says 50 to 55 hours already self-employed. Interesting. Would love to know what your business is. Felipe dedicates 45 hours per week right now. Okay. This is awesome. So for those of you that haven't commented in the chat, calculate those up, dump those in the chat whenever you get a chance. So we're going to show you how that could shift with a bookkeeping business. Keeping in mind too, with a bookkeeping business, you're actually going to be able to choose the day of time, or the time of day, the day of the week, and all that kind of stuff that you want to work. You'll be able to set your schedule, and you'll also be able to change it from week to week, to accommodate your lifestyle and things that you have going on, which is really awesome. Now, I'd also love for you guys to type in the chat, if money didn't matter, if you could make, $5, $10, $15,000 per month, how many hours per week would you prefer to work? Assuming you have to work a little, you're not retired, but let's assume you have to work a little. What would be your ideal preference of schedule of how many hours per week you'd want to actually work? So Portia says 30. For me, having young kids at home still, all of our kids are finally in school except for our senior, still homeschooling her, but everybody's in school now. So, I'm pretty content working like 15 to 18 hours per week and spending the rest of the time either with my kids or doing things that I want to do. So that's kind of where I'm at in my life right now. Can be different for everybody. 30 also for Shauna, 20 for Rachel, 30 for Felipe, 20 for Cassandra, 10 for Coquette. Great. Awesome. I love that. So that's the ideal schedule. Great. So the last thing I want to talk about as far as like the main goal that you have is location. How many of you guys want to be able to work from home? Type home in the chat if that's where you're wanting to work from. Or if you want to travel around in your RV, type RV in the chat. Maybe you have family across the country or outside of the country. Is there any other place? Type that in the chat if there's any other place that you are looking to be able to work from. So a lot of you say home. Kakeb says RV. Cassandra wants to do traveling. Yes. Great thing about a bookkeeping business is everything can be done on your computer, on your laptop from anywhere in the world. You can do it from anywhere. Andrea wants to do it from wherever she just feels like it. I love it. Amanda wants to do it from home and RV. You can totally do that. So we did a couple, like a year stint where we were traveling around a lot in our RV. My mom was running her bookkeeping business and I was running the Bookkeeper Academy, and our family was like kind of living in and out of an RV, and it works. It works. And the other really cool thing is when you're traveling around and you're going to all these different places, whether you're traveling a lot or even just a little bit, you can actually pick up clients in these other cities and be able to do their bookkeeping even when you leave that city. So even when you're traveling, you can actually grow your business as well, instead of just, doing the work even. So no worries, Sandra, no worries at all. You can, but Sean's going to text you, and so you can let him know what your goals are too. All right, so those are the main goals. We also have some additional goals that our students are always able to reach. Debt payoff, buying house, investing. We have a student named Jara, and she was one of our original students that joined back in 2019. And Jara was a stay-at-home mom. She had 4 kids at home that were all school age, and she was homeschooling all of them. Her husband had just graduated from chiropractic school, and he got a job as a chiropractor, but he did some kind of extended education, and he ended up with like $160,000 worth of student loan debt. And so when Jara decided to join the Bookkeeper Academy, she specifically wanted her main goal was to be able to pay off her husband's debt. That's all she really wanted to do with her bookkeeping business income. So she ended up just dumping everything on that debt. Within 2 years, guys, she had his entire student loan debt paid off. And then she kept working her business a little bit more and a little bit more. And before you know it, she was actually making more than her husband was per hour. And he was a chiropractor that invested $160,000 into his education and training. And she was at home homeschooling her kids, providing bookkeeping services to business owners, and she made more money than he did. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? Crazy, but you guys can accomplish these things. Then we had another student named Chelsea who wanted to buy her first house. They had always rented and they were looking forward to being homeowners. And the cool thing is, with her bookkeeping business and how much profit she was able to have and how much she was able to save up for a down payment, her and her husband were able to buy a $525,000 house, which is in the Midwest, is a really nice house. So she was able to skip her starter home and go right to a forever home. And she used her bookkeeping business income to fund that, the down payment and the monthly payments, which is really, really cool. But then we have other students that like to invest. And whether you want to, invest in real estate, invest in 401ks or retirement or things like that, you're able to do that once you continue to grow your business and have additional profit above and beyond paying for your normal lifestyle stuff. So one thing that we did in our bookkeeping business is to celebrate our 1-year anniversary. We decided to buy a brand new car. I'd never had a brand new car before. I always had used junkers, and I really wanted a brand new car. So we spent $45,000 on this van. At first we got a loan, but within 6 months I paid off that car in full. And then we took this vehicle and we went on our first 16-day vacation across the country. So we left Missouri, we stopped in Estes Park, Colorado, and went hiking. We hung out on the beach in Mission Beach, California, and then we hiked in the Grand Canyon. And this whole trip was a 16-day trip. So I had always been able to take little vacations here and there. Oh, excuse me, I had to mute real quick so I could sneeze. But I'd always taken little trips. When you have a job as an employee, you have to build up your vacation. Then you have to build up and save for these vacations because you don't have a lot of extra money sometimes. And so I never really got to take a nice, good, a long, fun vacation. But with your bookkeeping business, you can do that. So what I did here is I just took my laptop with me. I did the bare minimum of bookkeeping work that I needed to do. And we had some downtime back at the cabin and stuff. And then when I got home after the 16 days, I just caught up on my bookkeeping work. So it was really, really awesome. But I'd love to know, can you guys type in the chat, what are some of the big ticket items that you are looking forward to doing? Do you want to go on a big vacation like this? Do you want to buy a new car? Do you want to buy a house, pay off debt, invest in things? Type in the chat, what are some of the things that you guys are looking forward to doing when you have additional money coming in from your bookkeeping business? Ashley says, buy a house. I love that. Yeah. Buy a new home. Sandra. Hey, Sandra, how's it going? Helping husband go on his first major fishing tournament. Fun. I love that. Cuckhead wants to do all of the above, pay off debt and increase savings, buy my sister and mom a home so they don't have to rent. That is fantastic. Buy a home, pay off debt. I love it. Yes. So my husband, Sean, on here has a pretty expensive hobby as well, Portia. So it's been really nice to be able to fund that. And then also, like Shauna had mentioned, I have done a lot of different things for my family too. So that's what's really great about having a bookkeeping business. Not only can you afford to help your family, but you can help support them at times, but you can also even hire them in your business, which is cool. A lot of people do that. So I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that. But now I want to give you guys the roadmap to actually achieving these goals. So you've got all these goals lined out. I know you don't know how yet, but I want you guys all to know that every single goal that you have for yourself, it's all achievable through this bookkeeping business. So now I'm going to give you the exact roadmap. So not only you can see how it's achievable, but also when, because that's really important. Growing a business, it takes a lot of faith, right? Just like losing weight or anything else in your life, you just have to have faith, but it's really helpful to also have an idea of how and when, right? You need to know the possibilities of like exactly when. I need to know the details. I need to know a game plan. Sometimes it veers off from that a little bit, but at least you have something that you're striving for and that you know. So we're going to talk about that. Hello, Teresa. Okay, so first thing I want to go over for you guys is approximate and average time it takes our students to reach various levels of consistent, recurring, dependable monthly income in their bookkeeping business. So this is based off of monthly maintenance bookkeeping fees that you're going to charge your bookkeeping clients. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways you can make money in your bookkeeping business. One of those ways is cleanup jobs, backwork jobs. When you get a new client, I'm going to talk about that later. Those are really hefty. Those are awesome, but they vary from time to time and from client to client. What you need to be able to count on, though, is consistent monthly reoccurring income. So this is going to be as dependable or arguably more dependable than the paycheck that you have now. Is going to be this monthly maintenance fee that you get from your clients. So when you get to a level where you're comfortable and you want to coast for a while, maybe you don't want to grow, you can count on this money every single month to come in like clockwork. It leaves your client's account, comes into your account right or at the beginning of every single month. Okay. So now when you get new clients and you set up your business, you start your marketing, what we typically see is on average, when our students are consistently doing their marketing and they have the goals of getting to $5,000 to $10,000 per month within their first year, this is how long it takes them to get there. It's about $1,000 a month in reoccurring income that gets added to their plate for every month they're in business. So this is based on our average student who works full-time, also has little kids at home, and they're putting in about a consistent hour a day for marketing. So if you have more time, or you're going to be more consistent, or you're going to do a little bit more, you're going to reach these goals faster. If you are, not going to have as much time to dedicate to it, it may take you a little bit longer. But if you look at this chart, and I think back at my first goal, my first bare minimum goal was $2,000 per month. If you look at this chart, you can potentially reach that within about a 2-month time span. So if you look at the date, it's a November 16th right now. 2 months from now is January 16th. So really by January 16th, I could potentially be at $2,000 a month in reoccurring income. So as you guys can see, if you put the $640 monthly payment down, by the end of the first month, you should have enough to cover that payment for the second payment. By the end of the second month, you're going to have almost triple. Is that triple of what your monthly investment is into the academy? So you're going to constantly getting ahead and ahead. And eventually get up to where you're covering your bills. So for example, my covered and content goal was 5,000. It only takes about 5 months or so to get up to there if your goal is to grow that fast. Now, I just interviewed one of our students. Her name's Amy Henley, and her a podcast interview is going to go live in a couple of weeks. But Amy was interested in growing, but she didn't really have financial needs. She wanted to do it because she just wanted to build a business and eventually have like a retirement fund. And so she grew slowly. She told me that the first 6 to 8 months of her being in the Bookkeeper Academy, she didn't even do any intentional marketing at all. She just did a few things here and there, and clients literally fell in her lap. She ended up making over $2,000 a month in reoccurring income within about 6 months and no marketing at all. She just worked slowly through her clients' cleanup jobs and things like that. And then when she started actually putting some intention around marketing, she exploded, and she's been in our academy for about a year, and she's already thinking about hiring somebody. And this is because she just decided the last couple of months to actually try to do some marketing, which is crazy. So if you come in the academy and you're like, hey, I'm going to follow all these steps and I am going to do my marketing, you can easily reach these numbers where you can get up to the reoccurring income that you want in these time frames. So if you guys look at this, look at your bare minimum goal that you guys set and type in the chat, how many months is it going to take you to get there? So is it 2 months, 3 months? What does that look like for you guys? 2 months from now, just, keep in mind, is January. That's going to go by so fast. It's going to get here so fast. So Andrea, she's going to be there by, what is it, March, mid-March. Andrea would be at her goal. Portia would be there in January. Felipe would be there in February. So like really, really quick, mid-March for Shauna. Another thing to keep in mind too, guys, is this is the best time to get started, because if you get started now and it's almost tax season and you get that consistency going with your marketing, by the time January gets here, there's going to be clients coming out of the woodwork looking for your help, and you'll be able to scale even faster and potentially reach these numbers faster. So really, really exciting stuff there. And tax season starts in January for those of you that don't know. And just a pro tip, I'll talk about this a little bit more here soon, but every business has to have their bookkeeping in order to file their taxes, which is why we are we're in such high demand during tax season, because people put their bookkeeping off. And I'll talk about that a little bit more when we talk about how much you guys can make with cleanup jobs. But this is for consistent monthly bookkeeping fees that you can charge your clients, this chart here. Now, in terms of how many clients do we need to make that kind of money, here's a chart showing about the average amount of clients that you need. This is based on super, super small clients. So it's actually kind of a range, because sometimes you'll get a small client, sometimes you'll get a medium-sized client, sometimes you'll get a larger client. So we base our monthly fee charging off of how big the clients are, what's their annual revenue look like, what industry are they in, how organized are they. So your fees can vary, and we help you. I'll talk about quoting here in a little bit, but it is slightly a range. But on average, I'm going to say the average client you're going to get is going to be around $500 per month. So if you base that on the monthly income, if your bare minimum goal is $2,000 per month, you're going to need 4 clients. Now, to kind of give you guys an idea of what that range is like, we had a new student in December of last year. Her name is Kim. She got her first client, and that client paid her $2,200 per month. So instead of 4 clients at her first milestone, she only needed 1. Now, when I had my bookkeeping business and I was making $20,000 per month, I only had 33 clients, and this chart shows an average of 40. So it kind of gives you an idea of what a typical range could be. But another thing I want to point out is you can have only like 33 to 40 clients and make $20,000 per month. That's crazy, right? Pretty crazy. So type in the chat really quick. How many clients will you need to be able to reach your very first goal, your very first financial goal number one? How many clients? So 3, 4, 3 and 4 on average. I needed about 4. Cookhead needs 8. Shauna needs 8. 8. So anywhere from like 3 to 8 is what I'm seeing for mostly. All right, so now let's take a look at the potential client pool that's out there. How many people are you working with here? So this chart shows, it's from 2022. It shows you how many small businesses are in existence in the US alone. So there were in 2022, 33.2 million small businesses just in existence in 2022. And this chart shows you like the last 6 years, right? And you can see every year it's steadily growing. In fact, there's over 500,000 small businesses that are starting up every single month. So, I mean, think about it. Like I only needed 33 clients to make 20,000 a month, and there's 500,000 new businesses that are starting every single month. There's bookkeepers and CPAs also that are just constantly retiring. I've had so many of our students just get handed big books of businesses from people because they don't know how to sell their business. And so they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm retiring. Here you go. And they get a whole client list. So that happens quite a bit. But there's also been a decline in the amount of people that have been getting accounting degrees lately. So there's not a whole lot of people out there to take over this work and to replace those retiring CPAs and the lack of new people going into this field. So there's literally clients everywhere. There's never, ever going to be a shortage of potential bookkeeping clients because bookkeeping is like a required service. It's not a luxury item that you have to try and convince someone to purchase. Like if you're going to sell Scentsy or Mary Kay or leggings or something, you have to try to convince people they need this. Business owners already know they need bookkeeping because they have to have it. You can't get your taxes filed if you don't have your bookkeeping done. You can't apply for a loan if you don't have your bookkeeping done. And really, truly, you can't make good financial decisions for your business if you don't understand your numbers. And you have to have your bookkeeping done to understand your numbers. So all the business owners, they're already convinced of the value of bookkeeping. They already know they need it, but they still tend to put it off until it becomes a necessity, which is why there's so many people out there that end up looking for bookkeeping because they put it off and put it off. And then they're like, I really need this done. Somebody help me. Kakub says, pro tip, create a relationship with your personal banker to send new business clients your way. Leave your business cards with them. 100%. That is one of the marketing methods that we talk about in our program. Absolutely. 100%. Because your business banker is going to talk to businesses all the time that are coming in to set up their business accounts. And they are always looking for accountants and bookkeepers, 100%. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to talk a lot more in depth about marketing here pretty soon. But before we do that, I want you guys to put a thumbs up in the chat if you feel like, based on how many potential businesses are out there, this 33.2 million plus businesses just in the US alone, and you guys only need anywhere from like 4 to 8 clients to hit your first goal. 4 to 8. So type a thumbs up in the chat if you feel like that is doable. It's doable to reach that number. Of course, I'm going to show you how, but I want you guys to tell me if you think it's doable to get that, if you know what you're doing, if you know how to find clients. Awesome. Great. Okay. So now my favorite slide of the presentation, and the main reason why I started the Bookkeeper Academy is because of this. This is the expected time commitment you need to make to complete the bookkeeping work for clients at various income levels. So if you take a look at this, my first bare minimum goal was $2,000. I knew if I quit my job at the CPA firm and I picked up bookkeeping clients and I was making $2,000 per month, I knew it was only going to take me 4 hours per week to do the bookkeeping work. So the reason I knew that is because in the CPA firm, I did all of the bookkeeping work. I worked 40 hours a week for my boss, and I did bookkeeping for all of his clients. I could see how much my boss was charging them, but I also knew exactly how long it took me to do the bookkeeping work for those clients. So I knew that if I picked up just a couple of clients and I was making $2,000 a month, if I charged the same way that my boss charged, and if I did the work in the same manner that I was doing it when I was working for him, that I would only have to work 4 hours a week and still be able to bring in that same amount of money. That's what gave me the confidence, interest, and desire to start my own bookkeeping business. And it worked out that way for me. And it's worked out that way for thousands of people that have gone through the Bookkeeper Academy. So type in the chat, look at this thing and see like how many hours per week would you save if you did your bookkeeping business instead of the job that you're doing now. So for me, let's say what I was actually making at my job was close to 3,500 to 4,000. So I'll say 4,000. That's 8 hours per week. I was working 40. I would save 32 hours per week doing my own bookkeeping business versus working for someone else. So how many hours per week would you save? And I know, Kakeb, you were a stay-at-home parent, but how many hours per week would you save if you had to work? So 32 for Andrea, 32 for Sandra, 30 for Felipe. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, a massive amount of time that you're going to get back. All of this time that you're doing right now, that's investing into your boss's company and into their future, right? You need to take that time and invest it into yours. So now just imagine that. Portia says she'd say 56 hours. That's incredible. So really imagine that for a minute. If you had all of that time back, 42 plus hours for Shauna, if you had all of that time back, you can spend it with your family, right? You could pick up a hobby. You could relax more. You could travel. You could even, right, reinvest some of that time into your business so you can hit your other financial goals, right? Financial goal 2 and 3, and start knocking off some of those items from your bucket list. So if having extra time back isn't something that is at the top of your list right now, put that time back into your business and explode your finances, right? So you can have flexibility with it. But the key here is you get to choose what you want to do with that extra time, which is really awesome. That's why I told you on that previous chart of like, what you can get to, the reoccurring levels per month in the academy. If your goal is to make as much money as possible, that's what you can expect. But if your goal is to have more time and flexibility and freedom with your family, you can choose to do that too and keep it at $2,000 or $4,000 or $6,000 per month. Whatever you want to do, that's what you do with all this extra time, which is awesome. But if you also look at this chart, look at this at the WOW goal, look at WOW goal at $10,000. It only takes about 20 hours a week to do the bookkeeping for all of your clients that would total up to $10,000 per month in reoccurring income. So even working half of a schedule, half of a full-time work week, you're going to make that was my WOW goal, was to do that. So as you guys can see, like when we were making about $20,000 in the bookkeeping business, that's about 40 hours per week. My husband and I were splitting that time up and splitting up the time between the kids. So between the two of us, we never even worked a full 40-hour work week on our business doing the bookkeeping. Now, if you do continuously want to grow, you're probably going to spend a little bit more time doing some marketing, which I'll talk about here soon. This is literally just doing the bookkeeping work. So if you want to do marketing, you can. If you don't, turn it off. You don't have to spend time on it. It's optional. It's only if you want to grow, which is really awesome. All right. And this is also flexible too. So you can do all of your work. You can have like 2 10-hour days and then take all the rest of the week off and work your 20 hours and make $10,000 a month. You can do that 2 10-hour days through the week and be done. Easy peasy. So you can really schedule your business however you want. It's really flexible. And this is how I was able to do that when I went on that 16-day vacation. I had 2 weeks where it was like really bare minimum. And then when I got back, I worked more, that third week when I got back, I worked a lot more. So this chart is like a recap of everything we've talked about. So if you guys want to take a quick snapshot of this, you're welcome to. It shows the average time it takes to get to these various income levels if you're consistently marketing. Once you hit those income levels, how many hours per week it takes you to actually do the bookkeeping work, and then the approximate number of small clients that you would need to get to hit these levels. So I have done this enough. I have worked enough in this industry, and I've helped enough students to know that this is like pretty scientific. So feel free to take a screenshot of that. So, and while we are talking about this, and if you guys need me to go back, let me know. A lot of times at this point, people are like, this sounds amazing. Kind of sounds a little too good to be true. How does this high money, low time business work? So is anybody feeling that way right now? Put a yes in the chat if you feel like this seems too good to be true, maybe a little skeptical about it, not quite understanding how it all works. Definitely going to explain it, but I'm curious if anybody is feeling that way, or do you guys all just understand the science behind business? If you do, that's great too. But if you don't, you're going to know by the end of this call. So Anne says, yes, she's feeling a little bit like semi-skeptical. Anybody else? Anybody else feel that way? Yes, to Shauna. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to break it down on exactly how this works and why you're able to have that kind of financial freedom and make that kind of money on such a low time commitment. So the first thing is there's a few key pillars that make these results possible, but the first and most important step is proper quoting. So Kakeb says, worked in a CPA business before. Awesome. This is highly attainable with a commitment to your own business. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate you commenting that. It totally is. There is a science and an explanation into why this works. And so I'm going to show you guys right now, but proper quoting is the first most important piece to running your business. You have to understand how to charge your clients. You want to make sure you're not undercharging or undervaluing your services. This is an important skill to develop. And it's kind of an art. Every client is going to be a little bit different, and there's a lot of different factors that go into quoting. And I'll explain more about this later, but in our Bookkeeper Academy, we do work with you on every single potential client you get. We help you get crystal clear on exactly what to charge them. And we also go over every single quote with our students so that they feel 100% confident the prices they're charging are right in line with the results that I'm sharing here, so that you can actually reach all the goals that you have for your family and you actually attain the results that I'm showing on these charts. We also give you a quoting tool. So we have a full script of what you ask your potential clients when you're on a call with them. And once you get the questions from them, then you're able to put all of those answers into the quoting tool. It gives you a baseline price, and then you can go over that price with our team. And then we tell you, hey, yes, I think you should tweak it, maybe up it a little bit or whatever. So for example, Sylvia, who has been in our academy for the last year or so, she had a client, it was probably like her 10th or 12th client. And this one was in the construction industry, and she hadn't had any clients in that industry yet. So she calculated up around $500 per month is what she thought she should charge this client. But they wanted a few like extra things that really weren't included in the quoting tool. So she came to one of our calls and asked about it. And our team was able to help her understand some of the extra things that she was probably going to have to do for this client. So we recommended that she charge $1,000 a month instead. So she actually went back to her client, proposed the $1,000 monthly fee. He said yes, and they moved forward with that new rate. And she was stoked because if you calculate up how much extra that she's going to make in just even 1 year time span of working with this client, that's $6,000. So she basically got a $6,000 return on her investment with one interaction from our team members. And it really helped give her confidence in how she's quoting, but also she's never going to resent this client now because she would have quoted him half of what we suggested. So she would have got half of what she was worth. And that would have made it really difficult for her to get $100+ per hour. And at the end of the day, doing this work for her clients. So learning proper quoting is a really important key factor. If you underquote, it's going to be difficult for you to get to these numbers. But also when we quote, we know what the business owners can afford because we quote based on how big they are. What's their annual revenue? And that gives us an idea of how much work is going to take going into it. But it also lets us know that they can afford these monthly fees. And we're going to charge the clients a fixed monthly fee, and then you're going to do the work, but your clients don't necessarily know what your hourly rate is. They just know that it costs $500 a month or whatever to do their bookkeeping. And then you're in charge of, number two, doing the work in an efficient way. So that's the second most important piece to this, is understanding how to do the work properly and efficiently, how to leverage the AI that's out there, and how to use QuickBooks Online to be able to do this work really fast, really efficiently, streamline what you're doing, cut out any busy work, and also watch for what we call scope creep. When your clients ask you to do more things that are really outside of the terms of your original engagement, we help you set boundaries and maybe upsell them into higher packages when they're wanting additional services. So when you're first starting out, you're new. If you're doing this by yourself, you're not going to recognize those things necessarily. So we really help you protect that profit margin that you have by helping you identify those things. So when you have proper quoting and you understand how to do the efficient workflow, you've got this fixed monthly fee coming in, and then you're doing the work so efficiently and fast, but you're calculating up the total hours you're spending on it. Then you divide that against the monthly fee that you're charging your client. And usually it's a minimum of $100 an hour that you're going to be making from your client's reoccurring bookkeeping work. So that's kind of how all of that ends up working out. Now, the reason that we have you quote that way and that we have you do the work that way so that you can then make $100 an hour is because we are helping you build this business with the end in mind. So, for example, when you are working in your job right now as an employee, your boss had to build his business or her business with the end in mind because they needed to know that at someday their business would be profitable to be able to hire you. And then they still make money, right? Well, we're going to do the same for you. We want your bookkeeping business to be profitable enough that at some point, you're probably going to want to hire employees to work for you. And you need to have enough built-in profit to be able to not only pay those employees, but to still be able to pay you as the business owner. And we want to go ahead and set the proper quoting and the efficient workflow up right from day one so that you can just roll right into that and you don't have to change up how you're pricing or change up how you're working just because you want to hire someone. Okay. So if you take a look at this chart that we talked about a minute ago, and I showed you guys down here at 40 hours per week, you can make $20,000 per month in your bookkeeping business. But if you hire somebody to work for you and they work 40 hours per week, they can handle the client load of clients that are paying you $20,000 per month. However, the going rate for a bookkeeper or a staff accountant that works full-time for you is anywhere from like $3,000 to $5,000 per month. So we're just going to round up on the high end, $5,000. And that means you're going to be able to pay your employee to do the work, but you're still going to be profiting $15,000 every single month for every full-time employee that you have on your team. So for those of you that are interested in having like a 7-figure firm, like you want to have, let me see if my calculator is showing. Okay, yeah. If you want to make $1 million, let's just say $1 million in your business. So here's $1 million. If you divide that by 12 months, it's about $83,000 per month is what you would need to make. So you divide that by $20,000 per month, and that means you'd need a little over 4 full-time employees that could carry out all the work for you, and you would have a 7-figure bookkeeping business. Now let's say you pay them all, $5,000. So you're profiting $15,000 per month and you have 4 full-time employees. So you're close to a 7-figure business. and you're going to profit $60,000 per month, which is $720,000 per year of profit. So if you grow your business up to where you've got 4 full-time employees, they're handling the work for all of your clients. You're just overseeing and reviewing, maybe doing sales and marketing still, and you're going to have a profit of $720,000. Now, this is like 3, 4, maybe 5 years down the road, depending on how fast you want to grow, but this is a very high possibility that you can reach this. What do you guys think? Type in the chat. What is your 3 to 5 year goal with your business? Do you want to keep it small? Do you want to make 100K, 200K? Do you want to make $1 million? Type in the chat. What are your 3 to 5 year goals with this? I'm just curious. I've never asked this before on a webinar, but I'm really curious if anybody has any ideas of how much money they really want to make. So Kakeb says close to 500K in 3 years. Awesome. You need to watch Kaylee Douglas's podcast interview on my YouTube channel. She made $580 some thousand in her first 4 years in business. And now in her 5th year, she's on track to make $500,000 in just this 1 year. So Felipe just says, I want to thrive. Okay, awesome. I love that. But this is how it works, building the business with the end in mind, so that you can then eventually hire people without having to change up what you're doing. Okay. So guys, in the meantime, before you hire anybody, you're going to get the, $5,000 a month that you would typically pay somebody plus the 15,000 of profit. You get both. So before you actually bring on employees, you get that double whammy benefit, right? So Portia says, I at least want to grow and have at least 2 employees. So hopefully $1 million in 5 years. Great. It's definitely doable. Okay. $10,000. Is that 10,000 or 100,000, Teresa? 500,000 in 3 years. Love it. Love it. 500K. Yeah, let's do it. Guys, this gets me so excited. Gets me so excited. It's time for everyone to get off the struggle bus and let's open up our horizons, expand the opportunities that we have for ourselves. And I will tell you, there is nothing more exciting about this. For those of you that have kids, type the number in a chat, how many kids you guys have. But for me, I have 5, and there's nothing more exciting than being able to learn this stuff so you can pass it down to your kids. Your kids don't have to have the struggle bus like we've had. I've struggled a lot in my life. I didn't start my bookkeeping business till I was like 34. There was a lot, and I had my first kid when I was 21. So there was a lot of struggle leading up to that. And we don't ever have to let our kids struggle if we teach them these things that we're learning in our business now. It's so exciting. So exciting. Oh, 6 kids. Woo, 5 and 6. Oh my goodness. So hard, isn't it? Okay. So then I want to talk about the last thing. We're also helping you guys build this business with the end in mind from day one, because we want you to be able to sell it. Someday you can sell it. I sold my bookkeeping business, and I want you guys to be able to do the same thing. Obviously, I want you guys to grow your businesses up much bigger than mine was when I sold it, because you can get a lot more money for it if you grow it for a little bit longer. But I didn't have a mentor. I didn't know how to build a team at the time. And so I sold my business and dove into this. In hindsight, it would have been great to have kept my business and continued to grow it and then sold it once I built it up to a 7-figure firm. But I want you guys to be able to have everything in place right from the beginning. So that way, when you decide to sell it years down the road, it is going to be set up perfectly that you're going to get top dollar with an investor. So when you grow your business, let's say you grow it to you're making $200,000 a year. You're going to get a 1 times multiple to your annual revenue as a selling price, which would mean you could sell it for $200,000. But as your business gets bigger, let's say you grow it to 7 figures and you're making $1 million per year, that multiple goes up. So you could potentially get a 2x multiple on your business, which means you could sell it for $2 million. So I have a couple of students that are in our academy now and that started a couple of years ago, and they are literally growing their business with the intent to sell it in 5 to 10 years. And then that is going to be their retirement plan. And then they're going to go travel the world with their spouses. So this business can not only help you guys get by, help you pay the groceries, help you get out of your dead end job, but it can literally provide for your entire retirement in the future. And all you have to do is follow the steps and follow the path that we show you how to set it up. And then anytime in the future you decide you want to sell it, it'll be ready to be sold, especially if you work with us in our higher level programs to help you build out a rock star team of A players, because eventually you'll have a team of people that can do a lot of this stuff for you, and you'll learn how to be a CEO, manage a team of people, and then the business is a little bit more passive for you. And potential buyers love that, because then they know they can come in and buy a business that is fully functioning, replace you as the owner, and nothing's going to fall apart. So that's what we work with our students on as they start scaling. Usually they go through our Bookkeeper Academy, graduate that, and within like a first year after that, then they upgrade into our mastermind programs, and we help them build a team so they can scale it, which is really exciting. Okay, so does everybody feel, type a yes in the chat if you feel like this all makes a little bit more sense now. I understand the business behind it, how this high money, low time business works. There is a science, there is business concepts behind it. It's not just like a scheme or a scam or a get rich quick scheme. So, okay, great. I'm glad you guys are all saying yes. But if anybody has any questions on this right now, or you're still feeling skeptical in any way, don't hesitate to drop a question in the chat or in the Q&A box. More than happy to address it. So do that at any time. But one thing that I haven't even talked about yet, which I love to talk about, is backwork and cleanup opportunities. So backwork and cleanup, they're like interchangeable terms. And this is basically when you get a new client that signs on for monthly bookkeeping services going into the future, but they are also behind in their bookkeeping. So I will tell you guys, 9 times out of 10, when you get a new client, the reason they are looking for a bookkeeper is because they haven't been doing bookkeeping, not because they're wanting to switch and they just need somebody to keep them going. It's because they haven't been doing it for a while. So a lot of times you're going to be able to get somebody that signs on for a monthly package, and you're also going to be able to charge them a cleanup fee. So sometimes they're behind a few months, sometimes they're behind a year, sometimes they're behind 2 years. I've had students that had cleanup jobs where people were behind 7 years. So it's very, very common. And when I say common, I'm telling you, like 9 times out of 10, your new client is going to have some form of cleanup work that you're going to get to charge them for. Now, the really exciting part about this is, like, I don't know about you guys, but in your jobs, did you ever get bonuses? Do you ever get like really great big payouts every once in a while? I hardly ever did. I think the most I ever got was a Christmas bonus. I think I got $1,000 one year as a Christmas bonus. So like having like big chunks of money coming into my family was really rare. So the only kind of money I had in was just like small, consistent money from my paycheck. And I had to learn how to build up a big savings from that, right? Which was impossible. And Portia got a stinking turkey. So the thing that I love the most about this business is that when you get a new client, it's like getting a Christmas bonus every single time you get a new client, because almost all of them need cleanup work. So I'm going to give you guys some examples of what that looks like and how much money you can get up front every time you get a new client. And this has nothing to do with the reoccurring income that I showed you earlier. This is all extra income. So Kim, she joined our academy on October 17th of last year. She landed her first client about 6 weeks after joining our Bookkeeper Academy and getting her business set up and launching her marketing plan and everything. This first client she got happened to be a larger company. I mentioned her earlier. So she was able to charge the $2,200 per month. So within the first 2 months, she was already on track for her $2,000 of reoccurring income. But once Kim started working with this client, we helped her realize that the previous bookkeeper did not do the bookkeeping correct for the previous months of 2022. So she was able to present those findings to her client, and we helped her quote a $9,000 cleanup job. Again, this client was a little bit bigger than the average, right? So it's going to take more work for her to go back and clean it up. So she charged, they said, fine, go ahead, do it, because I need to get this done. We need to make sure our books are right, because they needed reliable financials to make decisions on growing and scaling their business. So basically, in her second month in business, she made over $11,000 in her bookkeeping business. 11. So she exceeded my wow goal that I had for myself in month 2. Now, obviously, 9,000 of that is not reoccurring. So in order for her to get that again in month 3 or month 4, she'd have to continue to get new clients, right? But it's still amazing to be able to take that extra 9,000, put it in savings, go ahead and quit your job. So then you have all this time to focus on your business and you've got this backup money in your account to cover your bills, right? So, and of course, you can do whatever you want with it. You can keep doing both. But that's kind of what Kim did. She actually got 3 clients like this back to back to back. This was her biggest cleanup job, but she was able to she was working part-time. She was able to leave that job, be home with her 2-year-old and continue to grow her business and do a really great job for these clients really quickly. So that was really awesome. So that was one. And then Alicia, she joined our academy on November 18th. And she spent about 3 weeks getting her business set up and ready to go. She's about to celebrate her 1-year anniversary in her business. And it took her about 3 weeks to get everything ready. And then she decided to launch her marketing plan on December 11th. And then within 4 days, on December 15th, she actually got her first client. So it only took 4 days of doing actual consistent marketing. And she got her first client. It was before the end of her first month in business. And she was able to charge this client $1,500 per month. So it was a slightly larger client than our average as well. But this client was behind 2 years. And the fee that we suggested was $6,000. So she was able to charge this client $6,000. So in her first month of being in the Bookkeeper Academy, her first month in business, she made $7,500, which is crazy. And exciting. So every time you get a new client, you can expect cleanup jobs like this. What we see on average for our students, they can be like as low as like 1,500, but up as high to around $9,000 to $10,000. That's kind of the range that we see. We see cleanup fees like all in that range. Anything above $10,000 is not as common. We don't see it as often, but we do see some higher ones every now and then. Like this next example, I just want to share this with you. It's not as common, but I want you guys to see that there are so many clients out there that need so much help, and there's so much potential for you to not only help a lot of people get their finances in order, but to make a lot of money doing it, because it's a very valuable service. So this last example is a student named Jennifer. You can see Jennifer and Alicia both I've interviewed on my podcast. Haven't been able to connect with Kim yet because she got a second baby and her baby's been in and out of the NICU and stuff like that. So we'll get an interview with Kim soon. But Alicia and Jennifer, they are both interviewed on the podcast. So if you guys want to hear more about their stories in detail, instead of just taking my word for it, feel free to watch that. It's on my YouTube. But Jen joined our program in August of 2022. And the first couple of months she was in the program, she was using that time to learn, go through the program, set up her business, take her time, and really work on her mindset. She didn't have a high belief that she could do this. And so it took her a couple of months to really start taking action and decide, I really want to do this. And so about August, September, it was about October that she started really doing intentional marketing and like really looking for clients. And within 2 months, she had her 5th client. And her 5th client was a larger one, $2,200 per month, but they were behind so much in their business that she charged them $32,000 to do a cleanup job. Now, she had only been doing bookkeeping for 2 months, guys. So we helped her not only find this client, but understand how to quote it. And then once she got it, then we helped her learn how to do all of the work and provide such amazing service to this client. So, whoops, I skipped ahead. She She not only was able to do a great job for them, but this client actually has given her referrals because she's done such a great job. So she talks about on the podcast how this $32,000, she actually broke it up into 4 payments. So it was over the course of about 4 months that she was paid out on this. And she took her time to do the cleanup job. It wasn't like she had to work 150 hours all in one week. It was all spaced out, which was really great. But this one client alone is going to pay her over $58,000 for the whole year. And she's working super, super part-time on this particular client. Now, Jen just sent me a Facebook message last week, and she hit $10,000 in reoccurring income. And so she's been in the program since August. So that is August, that is 15 months. So it took her 15 months to hit $10,000 in reoccurring income. But she's made a lot more money than that because of all these cleanup jobs. So I think she made about $120,000 within 8 months of being in the academy, factoring in all these cleanup jobs and stuff. And she talks about all of that in detail on the podcast. So again, this cleanup job, this isn't typical. Like usually they're much smaller than that. But if you guys get a client like this, what would you do with this money? I'd love for you guys to drop it in the chat. When you get a new client and you've getting this cleanup job money coming in, whether it's $2,000 or $32,000, type in the chat and tell me, what would you do with this money? I would love to know what your initial plans would be. And while you're doing that, here's a little recap of the cleanup work and stuff these 3 ladies did. But when they got these potential clients, we helped them understand how to handle all the steps leading up to getting paid and all the steps that come after. So I'll share that with you guys. Portia would put it all up for kids' colleges. I love that. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so we helped these guys understand how to conduct the new client discovery call and ask all the right questions. And then we were able to help them put together proper quotes, help them put together a proposal, help them understand how to present that to the client so they were able to explain the value so these clients would say yes. And then now that they have the clients, we then help them understand how to efficiently onboard them, how to break down the cleanup job into a manageable step-by-step process, how to help them understand exactly how to do the cleanup work in the accounting software, and then how to do the ongoing monthly work so that they're always making a minimum of $100 per hour doing this work. These are all the things that we help them with, and we will help you guys with as well. Shauna would put the money in savings. Felipe would marry your fiance. I love that. Sandra would save and pay down debt. Awesome. But the most important thing that we do help our students with too, above and beyond learning all of this, learning how to do a great job, learning how to quote, learning how to impress your client, above and beyond that, we help our students find clients as well. And as most of you guys know, this is called marketing, right? So our students usually only spend about an hour a day or so on their marketing. It's best if you can do more in the beginning, so that way you can get some consistency set up. And then we sometimes see that as they take on their first few clients, their focus shifts to learning how to do a really great job. So sometimes their marketing will die off a little bit. But if you can keep it consistent, at least keep it going consistently in the background, you're going to be able to continue to onboard clients very regularly. Now, when it comes to marketing, there are 3 main methods that we teach our students to get clients. And all 3 methods have been proven to get our students from $0 to $100,000 per year in their business within the first 12 months. Sometimes even before the 12 months, like for Jen, she hit 120,000 in 8-month time span. But you can easily hit that goal if that is your goal. Again, if your goal is to have more time or to just be able to travel, you may not hit that revenue goal if your goal isn't to make $100,000 in a year, right? But if that is your goal, you can 100% do it. But we give our students the opportunity to choose which method works best for them. So you don't have to do all of these if maybe one of them doesn't resonate with you, or it doesn't work with your schedule, or you just don't like it. You don't have to do all 3 of them. If you do all 3 of them, you'll just reach your goals faster. So I'm going to go over these 3 methods, and then you guys are going to type in the chat which one of the 3 or all 3, I guess, if that you're going to do when you start your business. So the first one is organic social media marketing. So there's typically zero cost associated with this, and we help you utilize the platforms that you're already using, you're already familiar with, and we show you how to use them in a business way, how to connect with and find business owners, whether it's on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever. And then we show you how to post content that actually gets business owners interested in reaching out to you directly. So they're going to be reaching out, they're going to be intrigued by what you're posting, and then you're going to be able to have conversations with business owners that are interested. Also, it does work if you reach out to business owners directly and message them, although you don't have to. You can even just post content and they reach out to you. Now, a lot of like MLMs and things like that will teach people how to like direct message and spam people, and we don't do that. However, if you do reach out to business owners, they actually like it because what we provide is so much support and service and value that if you say, hey, I just wanted to let you know we're connected on Facebook. I see that you have a business. I offer bookkeeping. So if you ever have any questions when it comes to bookkeeping or your taxes, let me know and I'm happy to help out. I had Elena, she joined our webinar a few weeks ago and then hopped right into our academy. And she sent 11 messages out to business owners that she knew on Instagram. So it probably took her about 5 minutes. And she got 3 people responded back to her that were interested and booked discovery calls with her. And now she's only been in our academy for a few weeks and she already has 2 clients. So it can be really effective to do that, but you don't even have to cold message people, which is awesome. So social media marketing is one. That is how Kim got her $9,000 cleanup job and the $2,200 client. She actually got that from step 1 of our social media marketing program. Literally, that's how she got her first client. Jen has also had a ton of success with using social media to grow her business and make that 120K in that 8-month time span. But the second marketing option we have for students is joining networking groups. So we show you how to find virtual or in-person groups where business owners hang out. And then we help you create a strategy when you attend these groups so you know exactly how to make the most use of your time and how to get clients from these groups. So you'll be able to set up referral partnerships, but also other people in these groups will basically be like little marketing minions for you as you get to know them, and everybody helps each other grow their businesses. And the great thing about that is that all of these other business owners know a ton of other business owners, and it just widens your potential circle of influence and your net that you're casting out for looking for clients. And they oftentimes will refer people to you. And then that way that's like a whole nother form of marketing. So these networking groups do usually have an investment though. For example, I had to pay $500 for an annual membership into my networking group, but I made $60,000 in my first year of being a member of that group. So it was really, really awesome for me to attend. I know we had a student named Terry. In September, she made $7,000 specifically from her networking group. And Amy Henley, I just interviewed her for my podcast. It'll be released here soon. She talks about how just visiting some of these networking groups got her first 3 clients where she was making over $2,000 a month in reoccurring revenue, and she hadn't even joined a group yet. So then when she decided to get intentional about her marketing, she joined the group, and now her business has exploded. She's already considering hiring people. So these groups can be very worth the investment. It also was nice because it turned into a second little family. So when you start working from home with your bookkeeping business, it's kind of fun to get out of the house once a week and go meet with other business owners. So it can be really fun. And then the third thing is email marketing. So this is a really, really untapped potential that a lot of people don't utilize with marketing. But what we help our students do is gather massive lists of business owners and tax offices. And then we show you how to deploy 2 separate email campaigns. These emails make potential clients interested in wanting to, learn more about what you do, maybe hop on a call, get a quote, those types of things. But if you can also work with some tax offices, we show you how to create a referral partnership with tax people. So that way, if you have that set up correctly, they will send you bookkeeping clients consistently throughout the year. And then you don't even have to do marketing at all, which is fantastic. So, as I explained earlier, every single business has to have their bookkeeping done in order to get their taxes filed. But tax offices either don't like to do bookkeeping or they get so overloaded during tax season, they don't have time to help all of their clients. So, a lot of times they partner with bookkeepers so that the bookkeepers can help with the overflow work. You can do the bookkeeping and then they can do the tax return. So, it can be a really great relationship. And Kaylee and Jason Douglas, they've been growing their business. They're the ones that are on track to make about $500,000 this year. And she has a really great relationship with a CPA, and that CPA gives her a ton of business. We just did a marketing workshop in our academy last week, and we showed you exactly how to set all of this up and do this all for yourself. So every once in a while, we do a refresher live workshop, getting you guys right through it. So if any of you guys join the academy this week, you'll be able to pop right in and go right through that marketing workshop and get all of this set up and going for yourselves right away. So you'll be able to get some awesome tax partnerships. And this is going to be a perfect time to do that as we're just about to roll into tax season. Okay, so I'm curious, out of these three, let's say one for social media, two for networking, and three for email marketing. Type in the chat all of the numbers that you are going to do when you start your bookkeeping business. You can do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, whatever it is. So Portia's going to do all of them. Kakab's going to do the virtual ones. Same with Sandra. Andrea and Felipe is going to do all of them. All right. Ashley's going to do 1 and 3. Anne's 2 and 3. Awesome. I love it. Awesome. And like I mentioned, the more you do, the quicker you'll get to your results. But if there's one that you just don't want to do or can't do right now, that's totally fine. So put a yes or a thumbs up in the chat if you are ready for me to dive in and show you exactly what you're going to get with our team and how our team is going to support you to actually do all of this and achieve these goals and set the foundation for your business. All right. Yes, Andrea's ready. Awesome. Fantastic. So please let me know if you guys have any questions too up into this point. But the first thing that you're going to get is access to a members only private Facebook group. The one pictured here is our free group, Have Your Cake and Eat It Too. That's probably one that you guys are all in, but we have a private one that is specifically for our Bookkeeper Academy students and alumni only. So currently we have about 200 students in their first year of growing their bookkeeping business. It's really awesome to have a sense of community with others who are on your same journey in their business, but also in life. Very supportive community there. We also have around 30 or so students that are in their second, third, and fourth year of growing our business. So a lot of the people that I've been talking about on this call today, they are all still in our program. You'll be able to collaborate with them, connect with them, learn from them, work with them. A lot of times they do even like guest coaching, but they're always in there. If you ever tag them or you have any questions, they're there to help you along as well. We also have 8 to 10 coaches, mentors, and team members who are all experts in either growing a business, marketing, sales, doing bookkeeping, quoting, all of that stuff. And you're going to have access to all of those people as well, including mindset coaches. Now, this isn't just a random Facebook group. We actually treat this group like a ticketing system. So every single time anyone has a question, that is considered a ticket that's submitted to us. The reason we use a Facebook group is because you guys will get to see all the questions and all the answers. So you're going to be able to not only learn from the questions that you have, but you're going to be able to learn from the questions that everyone else has as well, which is why we don't use like a private ticketing system, because we want you guys to be able to see and learn from everyone else. But these questions can be related to any topic that you can think of. Some examples are sales, marketing, quoting, QuickBooks Online questions. Maybe you have a technical bookkeeping, a technical tax question, workflow, mindset, questions on the coursework, anything like that. Nothing is off the table. We love questions and we answer them 6 days a week. Sunday is the only day that we are fully off. If you do post a question on Sundays, it gets answered first thing Monday morning, though. And if you ask a question between the hours of 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, any of these days, we currently have I want to say average 45-minute response time, but our response time average was actually like 35 minutes last week. So it's really fast. So, and of course, any question that's asked outside of this time, like maybe on, if you're working at 10 p.m. or something like that, if you ask a question, it always gets answered at the beginning of the next shift, which is really awesome. Now, Friday evenings, we're also off. It's just a low demand. Not very many people ask questions on Friday evenings. And then Saturdays, we do have an extended response time. So we do answer questions on Saturdays, but it's more like 3-4 times a day instead of every 35 minutes. But through the week, you're going to get really, really fast answers, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Friday, and then slower extended response times on Saturdays. But it's really awesome for you because it helps you get a quick answer to what you need. What is confusing you or keeping you stuck? We don't want you to be stuck. We don't want you to have overwhelm. We want you to be able to move right to the next thing that can help you reach your goals. So that way you can spend the time that you would normally be spending trying to figure all this crap out on your own. You can spend that moving forward in your business, or you can spend it with your family, right? And then this way too, you have the confidence that if you are talking to a potential client and they ask you something that you don't know, you can get a quick answer by coming to the group, asking us. We'll explain it to you so that you can then explain it to them. And then guess what? You've got that knowledge for the rest of your life that you can pass on if another client ever asks you that thing again. So it's really awesome. And it can really help streamline the success that you have to your business. We also do track everything. So here's kind of an example screenshot from one of our team meetings. The first column shows like the number of tickets that were submitted and how many of those questions were fully answered by the first response. Sometimes we have to go back and forth with you a little bit to get clarity on what your question is and to make sure we fully answer it. So about 71% of them were able to be fully answered with the first touch. And that average response time for this particular week was 42 minutes. But then even going back and forth with you guys and getting clarity on the questions and then fully explaining them, 100% of questions were fully answered and resolved within about 65-minute resolution time. So we track this every single week. So we know that our students are getting top-notch support from our team. So which is really awesome. And that gives you so much more time and flexibility back to be able to focus on growing your business and spending time with your family. But in addition to being able to ask questions to us at any point in time, we also have group Zoom calls. So there's anywhere between 7 to 8, maybe even more sometimes, Zoom calls every week. Right now, currently, we have a Zoom call scheduled Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. Central Time. We have a Wednesday one at 7 p.m. Central. We also have a Friday afternoon one that's all around mindset, overcoming what's blocking you so that you can get onto your best life. A lot of times these are scheduled for about an hour, but we stay on until everybody's questions are answered. So I know for a fact yesterday's call lasted about 3 hours because there was a lot of people on asking questions. And as tax season rolls around, we're going to have extended hours and we're going to have extra Zoom calls for everybody because you guys are going to get so many clients that we're going to be available to help you with all of them. So this is really great. As it stands right now, our team is available over 70 hours a week to be able to help you get your questions answered. And of course, you get on Zoom, you're going to get your question answered live. And if you post it in the group, you're going to get your question answered within about 35 minutes, which is really awesome. You're also going to have access to a client success director. This person is going to be like your accountability partner. And our program is self-paced and it's based on your goals. So the client success director, our accountability partner, she is going to know what your goals are and she's going to help you stay accountable to them. So she'll push you through the program at the pace that's going to really help you reach your goals, whether you want to make $5,000 a month by the end of the year or you want to make 15. We're going to help push you along so that you can actually hit those goals. She's going to be the person that you go to if you're looking for a particular course or a lecture or something like that, and she'll help you, know where you need to go. Like I mentioned, we have a ton of coursework that's available to our students in the Bookkeeper Academy, but it's not going to be the best use of your time to just sit and do coursework all day, every day. So we use our client success director to help you push to the course that you need, given the situation that you're in or given the question that your client has. So you'll have access to all of this coursework. A lot of it you're going to have access to for life. And some of it you'll only have access to while you're actually in the Bookkeeper Academy. But also when you're in the Bookkeeper Academy, it's good for the whole year. And then afterwards, if you decide to stay in, we let our second, third, and fourth year students stay in the academy for half price. And then you also have the option of upgrading into one of our mastermind programs. And if you're in one of our mastermind programs, then you get your second, third, fourth year in the academy for free, which is really cool. Now, for those of you that are interested in like, what does the journey look like when you first join the academy? Here's kind of an idea of what to expect. The first couple of weeks when you come in, you're going to learn how to set up your business back office, basically be like physically ready for clients, like being able to accept payments and things like that. Then you're going to learn the basics of bookkeeping and the basics of business ownership. So, understand how all of that works. Then you're going to learn what it looks like to provide amazing service to your client. And this will help you have the ability to communicate intelligently with a potential client, even though you may not really know how you're going to help them yet. It's going to be enough for talking points and for you to be able to sign someone. And then you'll also know how to conduct a potential client discovery call, comes with scripts and everything like that. So you will actually know not only how to communicate with a potential client, how to find a potential client, but then how to actually enroll them, quote them, start collecting money from them. So you're going to learn all of that within the first couple of weeks, assuming you only have about 2 hours a day to work on this. Most of this stuff is coursework with homework. And if you've got about 2 hours a day, most of our students complete all of that within about 2 weeks. Then from week 3 and 4, that's when you're really going to be diving into marketing, determining exactly which marketing thing that you want to do out of those 3 methods that I told you. And then you're going to start getting those set up and implemented. And then you're going to get feedback from our team and be able to start like really focusing on that. So if that's the trajectory that you go, what we usually see is by month 2, at the latest, our students are enrolling their first few clients. And then from here, we help you with the cleanup jobs. We help you understand how to do the onboarding, how to do the actual day-to-day work with these clients. Now, if you get started, sometimes we have clients that actually get, or students that get clients in the first day, the first couple weeks, like well before they're even ready. And that's okay, because we can just jump in and start helping you right from there. So if you do get a client, like Crystal joined our Saturday webinar, applied for funding, got approved on Monday, got enrolled into the academy by Monday afternoon, and by Tuesday, she had her first client. So in that case, we pivot a little bit and we help you do exactly what you need to do a great job for that client and make it as smooth as possible until everything's fully set up. So that's okay if that happens. But then the rest of the year in the academy, month 3 through 12, is basically just like rinsing and repeating. You're going to continue onboarding new clients, continue with your marketing plan, continue to ask questions, get feedback from our team, fine tune your methods with all of this stuff. And over time, you're going to become an expert bookkeeper. You're going to be able to have exposure working with clients from all various industries. And we're going to really help you set that foundation for a profitable business that gives you financial, location, and the time freedom that you're looking for. So that's basically what's included in the academy. What questions can I answer on that? Let you guys think about that for a second, type those in here, and then I'm going to share some links on the funding, and so you guys kind of have an idea of how to get started. And if you are interested in learning more about funding, type funding in the chat. And if you are ready to get started and you'd rather just pay directly, type invoice in the chat and I will get you guys exactly what you need. So the first thing I want to share is if you are interested in doing funding, I'm going to share this link. And the only thing that you need to know to get started with funding is you just need to have your down payment. So if you have $640 down to get started, I would suggest go ahead and apply for funding today because they will actually be able to get you could be enrolled into the academy by this evening. So if you have the 640 available, apply for funding today. If you don't have it available today, but you are going to have it available maybe in the next week, go ahead and apply for funding today and then just book your call with the lender for the date that you're going to have your $640 available. If you don't have it available today and you might not have it for a couple weeks or a month, then I have a form that you can fill out if you're planning to apply in the near future. So I would love for you guys to either apply for funding, fill out that form, or request an invoice today. And if none of those categories fit, please let me know if you have other plans or other questions. I'd love to get feedback from people watching, like, what are your plans for this? I want to help you reach your goals. Even if this might not be what you want to do, let's figure out how we can get you guys to reach your goals. So the only way I know is if you guys tell me what they are. But I'm going to drop some links in here. Ashley says funding. Andrea says funding. Shauna says funding. Fantastic. Teresa says, how long would we have support for? Will it be just for the year or is it longer? So the first term is for 12 months. And then after the 12 months, you have a couple of options. Either one, you can upgrade to our mastermind program if that makes sense for you at the time. And then if you do that, you're going to get the second year in the academy for free. And then you'll also be in our mastermind. If you decide you want to stay in the academy a little bit longer before you upgrade, you get half price on your second year in the academy. And then, of course, if you feel like you're set and you don't need any more help, you can do it on your own. Most people do like to stay in the academy just because it's a small fraction of your total overall income from your business. And it's a huge amount of support and peace of mind that you'll have. So I'm going to drop these links in here really quick, just so you guys know, for anybody that is planning on applying for funding. This form is US based. I have a separate one for Canada. If anybody in here is from Canada, let me know. And it takes about 5 minutes to apply for funding. Within a couple of hours, you will get an approval notification and the lender will ask you to book a call with them. When you book the call with the lender, you want to make sure you have the $640 down because they will collect your payment, have you sign some papers, and then they will notify us and say, hey, this person is ready to be enrolled into your program. And then we will go ahead and start the enrollment process. All of this can happen within like 4-hour time span. So we love to move fast. We love to help you guys to get to your goals as fast as possible. So if you are able to, we would love for you to go ahead and click that link and apply for funding. And then if you want to apply for funding, but you need to do it in the near future, please click that form and just let us know so we can stay in touch, watch for your application, make sure the whole process is smooth. Portia says, so I do not have the money to do anything, but I really want to do this. What else could I do until then? So what I would suggest up until then, I mean, one thing that you guys can do if you don't have the money is, number one, get creative. What could you cut out or what could you hold off on paying to be able to do this, to get started? Could you get a 0% interest credit card to help you get by for a couple months? I mean, keeping in mind, you're going to make a couple $1,000s a month just within the first few months of being in here. So could you squeak by doing this, knowing that you're going to make money here in a few months, right? So think about that. Try to like get creative, think outside the box. I've had people that have borrowed money from family members to get started with this. I had a girl that joined my mastermind that borrowed money from her dad because she really needed to make this work for her family. She was always a stay-at-home mom, but her husband was suffering from some illness, and she had to become the one that worked, and she'd never worked their entire marriage. She never worked. So her dad funded her to get into the program, and she wanted to work directly with me. So she went right into the mastermind, and she was able to grow her business, continue to be the primary caregiver, but allow her husband to stay home. And that way they didn't lose their house. They didn't have to have their family pay for everything, right? They just help invest in the program, and then she was able to carry it forward. So that could be one thing. Another thing is like, I've had some students that have done DoorDash. If you're really tight, with money right now, pick up some extra thing where you can get some extra funds so that you can come in here. Or, if you have a decent credit where you could leverage a credit card for a month or two to help pay some of those expenses. I don't know about you guys, but our cell phone bill with a family of 7 is pretty high. If you could put that on a credit card for a couple of months so that you can afford this monthly payment, that could be an option too. Will have to be in the future for me due to no funds. All right. Don't forget, guys, you got to get out of this. You got to get out of this struggle bus, right? You got to think outside the box to try to figure out how to get out of this financial situation, because you want to be in a better financial situation. But we all have different motivating factors for us, right? And there's different times that it's good for you. So you have to determine that as well. Hopefully that helps. But anybody else have any questions about the bookkeeping business, the funding, applying? Does anybody need an invoice directly, anything like that? Or have any questions on what a bookkeeping business looks like, what the academy looks like, what to expect? I mean, you guys are making me feel like I did a really good job explaining it all, but I know there's got to be some questions out there. Does anybody feel skeptical still? Happy to explain anything that you guys got for me. And also, if you guys know of anybody else that would be interested in doing something like this too, feel free to invite them to this webinar. And that would be really awesome. I should stop sharing my screen for a minute. Any questions? Anybody have any questions for me? We're coming up on the holidays, so I know it can be a little tricky, but if you start this, you could potentially get a cleanup job and have a really fantastic Christmas for your family. Yep. All right. Anything else? Any other questions? Looking forward to seeing you in there soon, Sandra. And Carolyn too. Looking forward to seeing you in there. I know you guys are both planning on hopping in soon. Anybody else planning on joining? I'm actually really impressed my voice held out this whole time. I was really nervous about that. All right. Well, if there aren't any more questions, I won't keep you guys on here. And I will be back on Saturday. If anybody wants to join on Saturday or bring their significant others or family members or friends to this call, you're welcome to do so. And I do soon, just working on the down payment. Fantastic. I'm excited for you, Andrea. We're looking forward to working with you. So I will see you guys on Saturday, and then we'll have Thursday off for Thanksgiving. So if I don't see you on Saturday, happy Thanksgiving to you all. And if I see you on Saturday, I'll see you then. And we'll look forward to talking to you guys soon. Sean is going to be reaching out to everybody and getting you guys a link to the replay. And if other questions pop up in your head later, feel free to let Sean know. He will answer all your questions, and we'll help get you guys all situated and on track to reaching your family's goals. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me. This was a long webinar and I really appreciate it. And we look forward to talking to you soon. Yes, Sandra, you have your funding appointment today. I'm so excited for you. This is going to be so great for you. All right. Well, keep me posted on how it goes, Sandra. Hopefully we can get you into the academy this afternoon and get you ready and rolling before the weekend starts. So it'll be fantastic. Then you can spend kind of Thanksgiving week really getting everything set up, and it'll be fun. It'll be so exciting. All right. Well, I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you on a future call, but most specifically, I look forward to seeing you guys all in the academy. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Awesome. Good job, Shauna. See you soon.